Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at msdynamicsworld.com. On this episode, we are catching up with Microsoft MVP Kuldeep Gupta. He's been looking carefully at the latest advances in Dynamics 365 project operations, and he's written some popular articles about it in the recent weeks. Not only does Microsoft continue to roll out updates for the current release wave, but there are also plans for the 2022 release wave 1, which means a whole new lineup of updates coming, and we look at a few of those, including the first project service automation to project operations upgrade support capabilities that Microsoft is planning to make available. Kuldeep also shares more about the articles he's been writing and more generally how he sees product use evolving for his clients. All right. Hi, Kuldeep. Welcome back to the podcast. Great to have you back here.
Same here.
I thought this was a great time to catch up again with so much happening in the Dynamics 365 project operations space and some of the great recent articles you've written sort of updating our readers on what some of the most important new features are. So that made it a great time to perhaps catch up again. As we start, maybe we could just get a little bit of an update from you about your role. You have a new role, I think, since we've last talked, and kind of what you're currently working on.
Right, Jason. Before we start, it's always been a pleasure to talk to you, Jason, and thanks again for having me on this podcast. I have also been missing these chats between us, so thanks for inviting again. Well, if I talk about my new role, I'm actually managing director and CEO of ProMX India, the entire division ProMX, the mother company being in ProMX Germany. We have another office in Miami and the third one in India and upcoming more offices. I'm pleased to take this role up to manage the ProMX India division, where the intention of this division is to provide the resourcing abilities as well as to capture India market and the other APAC region, which has not been touched by project operations yet. And as you know, we are project operations experts globally. So I want to capture this market via this entity that we have taken up here, and I have taken up the responsibility. So yeah, quite excited, quite excited to pull on with this journey.
Yeah, that's a great, sounds like a great move for you, and that's a pretty interesting place to be, as you said, with the project operations still having plenty of open space or green space, I guess you'd call it, to continue to expand. And yeah, I did really want to focus on getting your input on project operations and what you've been seeing with the product recently, both in terms of its new features and a little bit more about trends overall. Yeah, maybe we could just start with some general trends. As you've seen, obviously specific improvements, specific features that are much needed, as you've written about. Are there any general trends you would mention to sort of set the context here?
Of course, yeah. It's actually been a long journey. I've been associated with this product, and PO is not. You cannot call PO as new now. It has already established itself in market. And now when I say that, what I mean to say is that people have accepted it big time and are looking at it with an eye of expectation, with many new features which were missing. And not to my surprise, Microsoft is continuously bringing updates every month to this platform, which is making me and everyone on this Dynamics market attracted to this product. So I would say not a specific improvement, but yes, a lot of improvements that Microsoft has brought in store for us. So, what I had been looking out for improvements was I faced a lot of issues with when I was approving time entry. So Microsoft brought in with a new trend called as modern approvals. And they have now task-based billing. So what I mean by task-based billing is, earlier we used to have specific projects. Either they used to be called as a fixed price project or a time and material project. So now they have in one project a clear bifurcation that some tasks can be fixed price and some can be time and material. So that's a superb advantage that they've brought in with this feature in here. And again, one more beautiful update that they've brought with one more feature is one contract. I mean, earlier what used to happen is you can have in one entire quotation, one fixed price and one time and material contract. But now they are entertaining n number of contracts with fixed price, n number of contracts with time and material in just one quotation header. So this is one beautiful feature. Now what has this enabled with the customers is, there are customers, let's say if Jason, MS Dynamics World is my customer and says I want to do 5 projects and 5 of them would be fixed price. Earlier this used to be a blocker for project operations, but now with this feature I can do 5 project as fixed price in one single contract and invoice all of them to you in one go. So these are the features that have been brought in, so they are very inspiring.
And is this the type of an example of the type of feature that customers or perhaps even partners like yourself were saying to Microsoft, we need to be able to support these kinds of scenarios if we want this product to be successful? Is this sort of a foundational capability?
Yeah, so maybe one of the features that they were requesting was for subcontracting. So one of the customers that was requesting was for subcontracting feature, very bad time, because their model was something that they work a lot with the subcontractors. So earlier what used to happen is we had to do a lot of customization to enable subcontractors to get on boarded and support them with this feature. So now Microsoft did give us a blessing, gave us a blessing by introducing this feature inside, and now the subcontractors are enabled to do start work with this product by default, and we can always manage their time entries, their subcontracts inside the system, their invoicing and what they are doing. So this is one of the things that the customers are loving it.
Yeah, and this is one of the areas where you've written about getting started and how to configure the creation of a subcontract, creating a contract, creating subcontracts. It's still pretty new. What do you like in the case of subcontracting? Do you have personal wishes of where you hope it will go next? How it will be improved further or made more sophisticated?
Yes, great, good question. Maybe, well, when I was writing about that article and showed it to a customer, and I felt there are a couple of points where Microsoft will certainly improve itself. And one of the features that I would like to highlight bright is, let's assume ProMX is subcontracting MS Dynamics World to as a subcontractor, but MS Dynamics World can be awarded 5 different subcontracts from ProMX. So what is not tagged as of now is on which project, which subcontract of MS Dynamics World is attached, and the time or the hours are consumed from which subcontract. So there is a deep disconnect between which subcontract is attached to which project, which is hopefully gonna be getting resolved very soon. And I hope they must have already gotten it out in the February or December release, which is coming out, because I was reading some articles which are mainly focusing, yes, and if I see it in the December 2021 light deployment, they have mainly focused on this improvements that I'm just talking about. So I just need to test it about whether it is working fine as of now. That was something which was desiring since long.
Hmm. I have a sense that there's a lot of people in the community who sort of wait for you to do some of that early testing and be on the bit on the vanguard to know if some of these newest features are ready to be used, or how well they behave. It looked like another one that you wrote about for us, and that I think you've been working with, is modern approvals, right? Which when you wrote about it, I had a lot of questions for you to really understand it myself. Can you say a little bit more about why modern approvals are important?
Another great one from Microsoft side, and I had a big time approving time entries when I used to manage many projects at a time. So imagine a Friday used to be a craziest Friday for me, when I used to do a weekly entry approval, and there used to be more than 400 500 time entries that I need to approve. So what used to happen was, when I used to approve time entries altogether after cross checking for all the projects, and you hit all right, all the 500 time entries are approved now, there used to be 40% of chances that your all the time entries will not get approved, and that, like, out of 500 there will be odd good 300 time entries which will still sit down back in unapproved states. And this was constantly getting hit from all the customers around the corner to Microsoft. Now Microsoft did one good thing, is they started thinking about it, and they brought in modern approvals. Now how they work is, there is a feature which you go in the settings and say, hey, I want to enable my modern approvals. When you enable it, there is a threshold box which you want to put in. So let's say they advise the threshold to be 5. Now if I put in 5, what happens is, out of 500 time entries that I approve, the first five will get approved in synchronous manner. Okay. Synchronous manner means there will be no ifs and buts, that the 5 time entries will finish up their job of approval, and the remaining will enter into an approval set. There is a set created which is called an approval set, and Microsoft behind the scenes keep on retrying to approve those time entries from the approval sets. So there is a huge possibility of success that all the time entries in that approval set will approve. So it is something that we used to manually keep on hitting again and again for the pending time approvals that are not approved. Now Microsoft tries itself from the approval sets that are not approved. Nothing but, after that, if you want to go and check which ones are approved and which one are failed, the approval sets will give you a summary of that also, which ones are failed, with a proper reason as to why they are failed, and we can take appropriate actions. So this is the beauty of modern approvals.
And it sounds like right now it's something you have to specifically go and activate, right? Enable in your project operations system to be able to use it, configure it. Do you suspect this will become the default model in the future, or is it seem like something that will be an optional
No,
approach?
it will become default, because it is still in preview. So people are asked to, sorry to interrupt, but then they are asked to enable it because they don't want to interrupt with the normal way of working, and hence it is requested for people to turn it on.
All right. Another thing I wanted to get a little bit more perspective from you about is the, I guess you call it the migration status of project service automation instances up to project operations. As you said, project operations is not new anymore, but I think while you still have this scenario or this situation where there's some old customers that implemented PSA, the sort of predecessor to project operations, and now are looking at planning an upgrade or a migration. You can tell me how you describe it. What's the status about that? What's your view on when these clients should be in? Because, and I should mention I noted that out of the new release wave one for 2022, that the plan is that PSA clients, project service automation clients, will have the ability to start upgrading, right?
Yeah, yeah. And this has been out as a question since many months when PO was introduced. Since then this has come out, but now this has become a more concrete question for people when they have seen release paths coming out from Microsoft. And my opinion would be, for the customers who are looking forward to upgrade, is to sign up for an early adopter program from Microsoft, fetch a trial environment, and for a couple of projects run parallelly with them along with PSA in place. Because as far as I know, there are some problems with upgrading at this point, and the problem is that the WBS is not getting migrated to PO, and this is available in the preview environment as of now that I have tried, and hopefully this gets resolved by Microsoft as soon as possible. So in a nutshell, try parallel and wait until we see some success stories coming out soon, because any which ways the WBS is not getting migrated for those projects, so it is a trouble.
As a services provider yourself, do you foresee upgrades becoming something where your team will be spending a lot of time in the future? Is that going to be a services heavy process for each customer, or is it still too early to tell?
The answer is a yes and a no both. Major benefits, first of all, let's talk about the benefits. Major benefits they look from the upgrade is to see that they get a look and feel and a good look and feel experience. And apart from that, there are many features that they have brought in Microsoft by in project operations by Microsoft, is like split billing, introducing of scheduling APIs. And I've written one of my articles also on scheduling APIs. And these features are enabling people to start doing crude operations on tasks. So that is why scheduling API was brought in, the Kanban board feel and stuff like that. So these are the benefits which they can look forward for. And when I said no, we are not looking forward for now at this point, is any, because we want to see some success first from Microsoft to see if there are any issues coming out from there. And hopefully everything goes as smooth as expected, just on one click that, hey, I want to upgrade, and then you are done. And the client gets a benefit to use all such new beautiful features that have been brought just in PO and not in PSA. So yeah, looking forward.
One related question I was hoping you could just remind me of. There's now these, I guess, two different terms. There's project operations, and then you hear references to project operations Lite. Can you remind us what that terminology is about?
Project operations Lite, yes, a good one. Project operations Lite is there are three types of scenarios that Microsoft offers. Project operations Lite and then integrated scenarios. Project operations Lite is just the CE part of it, where we do sale opportunities, sales cycle to project management cycle to resource management to time entry and then invoicing. This is the light part of it, where only the CE module is involved. When we talk about the integrated part, there is this invoicing module that gets integrated with the F&O part of the system, and then you call it as an integrated environment.
Okay, and that's sort of like the full span of the capabilities. Yeah,
exactly.
All right. Let's talk a bit more maybe about the 2022 release wave 1 plans, which were just recently revealed, I guess you'd say. And you've said before that updates are coming on a monthly basis in reality. So the new release wave plans do give a more forward-looking visibility. But what do you see as if you look more immediately, what some of the most impactful other features and other updates that have been coming out, or maybe that you are expecting to come out soon?
Great. This is one good thing that I'm observing, that Microsoft is actually coming with every month update, except January. They have come up with every month update from the past like 8, 10, 11 months. And what they have more focused on improvising is a couple of features like resource management, towards billing and pricing. There are some calculation issues, that cost performance calculations issues they are fixed. There are some time and expense issues, time entry issues that they have fixed into. Like I said, they have gotten into subcontracting, and some of the issues that they have fixed in the December last month's update, that they have fixed into all the subcontracting related issues that I've spoken about. So, and in the latest February update, again they have made more billing and pricing related issue fixes. Some opportunity management related fixes they have done. So yeah, these are the some changes that they have brought in the last couple of months.
All right. Well, I wanted to just turn for a moment to maybe more perspective from your project work, from your work with clients, and how businesses are actually using project operations today. Can you give any more description or sort of perspective on how your clients are actually using project operations, what they're deploying it for today, and maybe do you see any trends that maybe are worth noting for other people in the field to be aware of, about where you see project operations going in the customer base?
Well, definitely. So I off lately, from last 1 year, I have seen a trend that from various sectors of industry, these customers are actually looking forward to use project operations. And I would take two such examples. One is from the energy industry, uses project operations die hard, And one more is from the ITIS industry, information technology enabling systems. So they are IT systems. They are also using project operations to its core. They use it not just for their sales to the project management part of it. They use it for their resource management and their forecasting needs of the resources as well, and they have seen success in terms of when they are using it for the resource management, because they can take actually a management decision as to are we doing good with terms of the resource strength that we have in the organization, or we do need to hire more or keep our resources busy with the projects. To a few customers, with respect to invoicing, and then integrating it with their invoicing module. So invoicing module, I mean to say some third party invoicing system, or to Navision or Business Central as well for the Navision billing purpose. So these are some of the features. Before we did that, one of the customers was for asking for split billing, and we did that customization for them, by ourselves. But then this is one thing that they have now started to use out of the box.
Okay. Interesting. So you're seeing sort of a mix of some customization, some out of the box, but as features evolve, is the goal often to eliminate custom?
Yes, they are continuously taking our feedbacks as we are regularly in touch with the product team. They are continuously promising to bring in features to reduce the customizations and bring everything out of the box so that the customer is not harassed.
All right, excellent. Well, it sounds like there's plenty more to watch as the product evolves, huh? I mean, like you said, monthly updates, a whole new release wave plan that we can start looking at with lots of new preview features and things reaching GA in the next.
That's for sure. You will see some beautiful more updates coming out in coming future, which I am also really excited to hear back. I am under NDA. I cannot speak them now on this call, but then wait for something more good to come out. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. All right. Interesting. Yeah. Exciting times for a product that really does continue to evolve, like you said. Yeah, Kuldeep, thank you so much for joining me again. Like you said, it's been a little too long since we've last talked. I hope we can do it again soon. And I look forward to continuing to share your articles with our readers.
Definitely, I always do that. I will continue doing that, and looking forward to talk to you soon again.
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks once again to Kuldeep for joining. We'll include links to his recent articles in the show notes. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me by email, jgumpert@msdynamicsworld.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn or on Twitter to get all of our updates. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.